Welcome to our new podcast, Lunch with a Librarian. I'm Christine Cook, a librarian here at Fife Cultural Trust. I want to share my lunch with interesting people, and the libraries in Fife are full of them. People are more than their jobs, and it's nice to get behind a job title to find out about the person. That's what this podcast is all about, really, putting a face and some personality to the people who live and breathe libraries and books of all kinds in Fife. So, I've got another absolutely key member of the service development team here with me today, Heather
Korabiowska.
Yeah, I had to get Heather to say her surname because when I pronounce it, it sounds like nothing on earth. So Heather is one of our gurus in all the backroom stuff that lets us play around with library stock to get the most issues out of what we've bought. But she's also a very keen amateur artist and an expert mushroom forager, and that's part of really what I'd like to talk to her about today. So the first question for librarians who lunch is always the same, Heather. So can I ask you now, what's your favourite lunch?
Well, if it's a sandwich, it's definitely got to be cheese, onion and lots of mayo.
Lovely.
The more mayo, the better. If it's a hot lunch, it has to be macaroni and cheese.
Oh,
with
food of the
chips.
gods. Food of the gods. Chunky chips or skinny chips?
Chunky chips.
Chunky chips, okay. Skin on, skin off?
Off.
Okay, salt and vinegar?
Nope.
Ketchup on the chips but not on the mac and cheese?
No.
No ketchup at all ever?
No, you can't have ketchup with macaroni and chips.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's the only way I can eat macaroni and cheese. You're just so wrong.
No, I'm not.
Thanks for being here with me today, Heather. I know you're not one to shout about your talents. You're very, very modest. But having seen some of your paintings in the past, you definitely have a very artistic eye. Have you always been interested in art?
No, I hated art at primary school, and it was actually my last primary school teacher that forced me to do a poster after I had a huge protest about doing it, and it turned out to be not too bad. And then that's when I started to get interested in art when I went to the high school, and that's when I really got into it.
And did you do higher art and things like that?
No, I didn't do higher art because I didn't want to do the 6 essays to get through higher art.
Ah, okay.
I wanted to paint and draw.
So if it had just been a practical qualification, you would have
Absolutely.
totally spent, you could have spent a year just painting and painting and painting.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I
Right.
would have done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it mainly watercolours that you work in?
Nope, I work in any medium that I just fancy working with. I like oils, I like watercolour, I like watercolour pencils, just whatever I fancy. You really tailor the painting medium to what you're actually going to paint. Some
That
things
makes
are better
sense.
suited. I prefer oils for landscapes, watercolour for flowers, etc.
Okay. Oils have always really, think people find them quite intimidating because you need more kit to work with them, and they're maybe more challenging to work with.
Well, yes, and they're more difficult to clean as well. The brushes
Yeah.
need to be, put in tubs and etc., which smells foul. But it's worthwhile. You get a nice result with oils.
With the oils.
Yeah, I really like flowers and landscapes. But my secret desire is to actually paint a nude.
Ah, okay.
But I do think I'd blush rather a lot, and I wouldn't know where to look. Actually, I would know where to look, but I shouldn't be looking.
I think everybody who goes to do a life drawing class, that thought must go through their mind of, I'm just going to sit there with a red face the entire time, and all I'm going to paint or draw is the face, because I'm not going to be able to, everything else is just going to be a blur.
Don't
because I'm
look
not going
down.
to be able to look. Everybody must think that. So, right, I've got a theory then. If you're worried about going in to paint or draw in a life drawing class, I think you should break the back of your fear by going in, and you should be the model. And then you'll have no fear because you'll know what the person has gone through, and you'll be totally fine with it. You'll be so relaxed.
Oh, Christine, and if you asked me to do anything, I would do it. But taking my clothes off in public's not one of them.
Well,
And you look at it and you can say, I did that.
yeah.
And that's what I really enjoy. And other people will come in and say, did you do that?
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So it's the creation is something that's completely yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've taken a blank piece of paper or a piece of board, and you've made something wonderful out of it. Well, you hope it turns out to be wonderful. They don't always turn out to be wonderful, but
Yeah.
I do
But
try.
it's totally yours.
Yes, it's mine. It's
Yeah.
my project.
And would you encourage other people to have a go at art and see if they can sort of discover their inner artist?
Absolutely. I think if I can do it, so can everyone else. And the words of wisdom from that wonderful teacher was, just draw what you see.
Yeah.
And that, you can't go far wrong with that. Just draw what you see. It sounds simple, but sometimes it can be difficult to do. But you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Give it a bash.
Give it a bash.
It's absolutely wonderful. And it's very simplistic but very clever. And the favourite picture is Dance Me to the End of Love, which I have a copy of.
So
in
which
my
one
house.
is that? Describe that one to me.
That is the one with the gentleman with the dark suit and the lady with the long white dress, and they're on the beach just holding each other dancing.
Oh,
Beautiful.
the most romantic painting. I think you've got a
Absolutely.
big romantic streak in you.
Oh, maybe.
Stock with Collection HQ, which is our stock management system that helps us make the most of what we've got. So can you tell us a bit about Collection HQ and the kind of things that it can do for us?
Well, its initial thing is it saves time and it saves money. And the key goals of it are improving collection quality and more relevance to our customers.
So does that mean sort of putting books in libraries where we know that people want to read them?
Absolutely. There's no point having a book sitting on a shelf in a library not being used.
Yeah.
And the system's intelligent enough to work out that it's not being used at that library, so it produces a report and asks you to shift it to a library that potentially would get an issue from it.
Yeah.
So basically it's a way of generating additional issues without having to buy any more stock.
That's a really clever bit, isn't it? We're not actually putting any more of our budget into it.
Absolutely, and the public pound is very important and has to be spent wisely.
Absolutely.
And this tool is helping us to do that.
Yeah.
Basically, last year we had an extra 106,000 issues.
Wow.
Yeah, fantastic. And we didn't have to buy one extra book to achieve that. We recirculated and relocated the stock that we had, the existing stock, so that it had the chance to go to a library where potentially it would be used. And that's what it did. And also the monetary value, because it always boils down to the pounds, shillings and pence.
Yeah.
We managed to save £118,000.
Wow.
So we didn't have to spend a penny to save that money, and it was fantastic.
That's
it
amazing.
was, yeah.
So that's how much that the book stock that got us those extra issues would have cost us.
Yes.
And we didn't have to shell out a single penny for
Absolutely.
it. It's so
Yeah.
clever.
It
I
is
think it's
very clever.
It's a very geeky side of librarian and sort of librarianship and library work, but it has such great results that we should be shouting about it a bit.
Absolutely, and I'm proud to be a Collection HQ geek. Call me that any day.
No, you're not a geek. You're a guru. We've got another guru with us today on the podcast. Enjoy most about going out hunting for mushrooms?
Well, the thing I enjoy the most is that basically it gives a walk in the woods purpose.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not just aimlessly wandering around, you're actually looking for the mushrooms, and that's the challenge, finding where they are, and of course keeping it to yourself and not telling anyone else, because you don't share.
I know you don't share.
No.
It's very unfair.
It's not unfair, it's self-preservation, and as my husband likes to say, you can go for a walk in the woods and make money at the same time.
That's very true. So when you come home with a big basket of chanterelle, is it like a big feast, or do you prepare them and store them? And
Well, we normally dry the vast majority of them, and we obviously have a few for our dinner and creamed, because I like chanterelle. They're our favourite ones out of all of them.
they are delicious. Okay, with them
like
every
that.
month, and you're part of the sort of heart of the team that's organising all of this and sending out all the reports and scheduling things in and doing all the backroom things. So I take it with that many libraries to work with, it's really straightforward, and it just takes you about 5 minutes every month to sort of put things in place.
Actually, it does, because I just waved my Collections HQ
Your
wand,
magic wand.
and it's done in a heartbeat.
Oh, super.
No, in reality, it takes up quite a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's very time consuming, but I personally find it very rewarding. It's nice to know that what I do and the rest of the team do, it makes a difference. It makes a difference to the customers' access to books. It makes a difference to the quality of the stock that we have, and it saves us money. And eventually it does save us time, because we're not having to go in and do stock edits in the libraries anymore. The reports get sent out, the library staff access it, deal with it. So we don't actually physically have to go out to libraries anymore. So it frees us up to do other things.
Projects. Yeah, that's really important. I think when you see the amount of money that we have saved and the extra issues we've got without having to put a penny of our budget into buying extra stock, it's just mind blowing, and it's really exciting actually to be a part of that. And you're a big part of that.
It's I'm very proud to be part of it because it does make a difference.
Yeah.
Libraries do change lives.
Yes, they do, and we're amazing.
Yes, we're fantastic.
Have you found working towards a qualification challenging?
Nope, I have loved every minute of it. It's a SILIPS qualification, and unfortunately it's called certification. Some people may well think I should be certified, but that is the name of it. It's an extremely rewarding thing to do. The crux of it is basically you gather knowledge, you develop your skills, and reflect on the practices that you have actually done.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I found reflective practice very difficult in the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, you find unwittingly everything you do, you're reflecting on it, even stuff at home. So, but it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And I've got a fantastic mentor, I have to say that, who will remain nameless, but she's absolutely brilliant. She gives me lots of good advice, and she always G's me up to keep going for the next step. So she does her job very well.
So when will you be finished? When will you be certified?
Oh, I'll be certified. It could be sooner than I think. No. I'm hoping to be finished probably just after summer, maybe about August.
That's good.
August time. But
so you're going to buy a big bottle of Prosecco and celebrate being certified?
No, I'm going to buy a whole crate of Prosecco.
A crate of Prosecco.
No, I'm only kidding, but yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, that's really good. It sounds like you've really enjoyed it.
Indeed, Christine, and thank you very much for asking me to do this. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
But don't ask me again.
But don't ask you again. That was unwritten. I kind of assumed that. Okay. Yeah. So happy reading, everybody, and happy lunching.